Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. Welcome to another Genie Vlogger live stream with me, Jarrett Ross, the Genie Vlogger. Hopefully, I have sound this time. Last week, I started with no sound, but hopefully, everything's set. I double checked it this time. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're enjoying the summer. It's coming towards an end now that it's the first day of August. So I'm sure lots of people going back to school and such in the next couple of weeks. Big genealogy conference coming up next week. The Jewish Genealogy Conference, the IAJGS Conference, which is officially called the 45th International Conference on Jewish Genealogy. I think that's the proper title for it. But either way, that's going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana next week. So if anyone's going, I'll be there. Hopefully I'll see you. So I guess we'll kind of let everyone start kind of coming into the room. I've been trying not to wait as long. I used to do 5 minutes before I'd start, but now I'm trying to kind of not do that as much and just jump in quicker. So I'm guessing people are probably waiting a little longer still. But we'll do a quick go through some hellos, especially now that's we got a light crowd right now. Everyone's filing in. Nick Brokema, goedenavond van Groningen. Goedenavond, Nick. Ik hoop dat alles goed met jou. Eve, yay. Happy Friday from sunny and hot Ontario, Canada. Well, hello, Eve. Thank you for joining. Hopefully it cools down a bit there. It's been super, super hot here in North Carolina. It's finally starting to cool down a little bit, but oh my gosh, the humidity. It's terrible. Spin Ninja. Hello, everybody. Hello, Spin Ninja. Thanks for coming. And Nick, don't forget to like. Yes, everybody, please give this like and definitely comment as much as you can, especially now that there's that top fans thing. So, see who's on top with the comments. Anna, hope everyone is having a wonderful week. I'll have to catch the replay. Oh, yeah. Well, sorry you're not able to be here for the live, but I'll see you in the future, I guess, when you rewatch this. And Charlie, hello, Charlie. Good to see you. Our wonderful mod coming in here to keep us protected. Keep all of you in line. Julia Joyce, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Julia. Good to have you. And Irene on time in Cary, North Carolina. Well, glad you're here on time. You get the full thing. And Eve, the mod is here. No shenanigans. Definitely. Valdemies, hello there. Hello, Valdemies. Good to see you. Andrea, hello. And our Portuguese contingency, hola Pascual. Not staying for long. I have a concert of Armenian music to attend. Oh, very cool. That'll be fun. Berke Sulek, hi from Amsterdam. Hoi, Berke. And Tay, hello. Good to see you. Good. Sound is good. Vicky B from Manchester. Good to see you, Vicky. And A.T. Goldsmith, evening from Poznan, Poland. Evening. Good to have you. I don't know if I knew that you were in Poznan. Very cool. May Gardner Mills, I wish. I guess something I said before. And Matt Fass, hello from Sweden. Hello, Matt. We've got our Scandinavian contingency in. Brenda Child, Seattle here late. No, not late at all. Actually, we're just getting started. So you're right on time. Gail, good to see you. Hello from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Mrs. Hiding, hi. Here from Texas. My son's in Manchester. Very cool. Well, thank you for joining, Mrs. Hiding. And Alexandra from Koblenz, Germany. Hello. Good to see you. And then we've got Speedy McWeenie Mom. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. And Karma Gal. Hello from Nebraska. Hello, Karma. And we're caught up. All right. Hope everyone's having a good week. As always, if you do have questions for me, post them in chat, anything you want to chat about. And of course, if you have a question that you'd really like me to answer, because I may not catch all questions if chat starts going fast at some point, super sticker is always helpful. And as well, I always appreciate those because they help support the channel. I think I might have already mentioned I set a goal for the super stickers. So if we get, I think it's at least 5 of them in the next 52 minutes and 32 seconds, 31, 30. But basically, if we get 5 super chats or super stickers, we'll watch an exclusive Roots Tech video. So it's the fun video with a ton of genealogists, a lot of different big names. I'm very sorry to hear that, Karma. Very sorry to hear that, but hopefully this stream can maybe bring your spirits up a bit, and hopefully things will be getting better for you. So yeah, always tough when you going through a rough week. Yeah, Drea, sad news today. I learned from the official hard drive recovery folks that I've lost about half of my genealogy research that was on a now broken hard drive. Oh, that's so. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is absolutely terrible. I feel like with digital age, it's one of those things where a lot of us don't think about that as much. And I know that it's much more common for people to say, make sure you back up all your info and all of that. But even then, it can be very hard. It can be very hard to deal with all of that. So I'm sorry about that. Hopefully maybe you can recover some of it some way through other means that, maybe there was stuff you posted somewhere. I don't know. Karma, a friend passed on Wednesday. She was 54, esophageal cancer. Very sorry to hear that. Hope sending my best regards for you and your friend and their family. That can't be easy. Very sorry to hear that. Mrs. Hiding, my mom and her siblings are probably from different dads. No known info according to cousins. Any advice? They grew up in Mexico. Well, I mean, if they're willing to do a DNA test, that should tell you right away. If you have them do just any sort of autosomal DNA test, which is basically Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, all that stuff, have the siblings take those DNA tests, and then it'll tell you right away if they're half siblings or full siblings. So yeah, and where they grew up, I mean, Mexico. And the thing about stuff like this is that even if they have different dads, the paper trail might still say the same dad, because people, the birth record wouldn't be like, okay, this is exactly who the dad was. It's whoever told them who the dad was. So that'd be my advice. Just, go through the DNA. You can certainly look at the paper trail, see if you can pull up birth records and things like that. But like I said, it might not be true. You might be able to solve it through that, though, because sometimes the true father will be listed. And then it's just that the children that aren't told. So, okay. So let's see. So we aren't getting many questions right now. So what we can do, see if I can pull up some family tree stuff to work on. Because one thing I've been doing a lot lately is I've been doing a lot of I've been checking Jewish Gen a lot, because they've constantly been adding more and more records to their database, and a lot of these records are really amazing stuff that's finally allowing me to do research into the families that I've wanted to do for so long. It's basically like all the sort of stuff that I was able to do with my family in Amsterdam. desk is all cluttered. Basically, what I was able to do with my family in Amsterdam by building massive trees for them, like I'm not able to do that quite yet with my families from present areas of present day Ukraine, but I have been able to find a lot of information to help take things much further. And I know I've talked about a good bit of it on stream, and I'm wondering if I'm going to do a little bit here. Yeah, and Brenda trying to get Ukrainian Jewish info in Vinnytsia, a big genocide in 1941. Well, let me talk about my family they weren't in the town of Vinnytsia, but they were in the Vinnytsia Oblast in the town of Tolchin. And that's a family I've talked about a couple of times. So it's my great grandmother Pearl's family. And I'm going to pull that up right here. Just need to get it all set up. But my great grandmother Pearl was born in the town of Tolchin, and I did research on this family years ago. But when I did that, I had to hire a researcher who lives in Vinnytsia Oblast, a researcher named Sergei Fizulyanov, who has joined my streams every once in a while, and he does comment on a lot of my videos. He's kind of like a genealogy content creator in his own right, just on the Ukrainian side of things. But this is my Tolchin family. And, with Jewish Gen, that's the best place for Jewish research in present day areas of Ukraine. So as an example, let's see trying to think if there's any sides that I haven't dove into as in depth. I guess we can just look up the Vaxxer record. So there's a few things you can do. One of the things I like to do, I guess starting out, let's just do Vaxxer. And what I like to do is with town or any field, but I prefer any field, I'll put the town name. And the reason why I do any field versus just town, I'll show in a second. So take a second to load. And so then you get the different groupings of where these records are coming from, which is helpful. I wish their database searching was a little bit more user friendly. This is definitely a much older format, and I mean, Jewish Gen has a lot of amazing people working there and volunteering and doing different stuff, and it allows for a lot. But so the reason why I put Tolchin in areas beyond just town, I did any field, is because town, it only correlates to that field. Whereas if you do any field, like place recorded, I guess this isn't a good one, but there's, in a lot of these different records, there will be notes sometimes saying, where the person came from. I'm trying to remember which ones they are that might have that. Okay, so here, exactly, comments. So these are comments that they have. So we can see, let's see, this family is in Odessa, right? This is the 1897 census. Okay? But if I had done Tolchin as the town, this would not have come up. But because I put Tolchin as the field, now this came up. And we can see, okay, yeah, they came from Tolchin in Bratslav, Uyezd, which is, that's what it was then. Now it's just Vinnytsia Oblast, but then that was also the Podolska gubernia. Obviously, a lot of stuff changed after World War I, World War II. A lot of things going down. But this is a family. Actually, I don't know if I have them. Let's take a look. So we have Abram and Gershko Vaxxer. So I'm looking for Abram is 45 in 1897. So that'd be 1852. Yeah, 1852 about. In Tulchin that he's born. So let's see. Oh, no. Abram, and he's a son of Gershko. So it's not over here. I don't have anything in there that makes sense. But there's multiple Vaxer families. And that was one of the things I was doing, was trying to find every single Waxer that I could. So no Gershkos. See if we can find. Nope, that's my side. No. So I don't know how to place this. So what I would do, actually, and I can do that here, is I am going to add them in as their own branch, so that as I research, eventually I can connect it all together. So I'm just going to add. Doesn't matter where I do this, because I'm going to disconnect it. So I'm going to add a Gershko. And I'm going to go into Gershko's profile, and I'm going to disconnect him from everything. So he's going to be what's known as a floating tree. He is a profile unto himself within my Ross family tree, main tree. So hopefully that makes sense. And actually, let me check chat real quick. Oh, Brian, good day. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. Carmigel, found my great-grandpa's first wife's obit. He really did not want anyone to know that she divorced him. I now have the divorce papers in her obit, both proving she divorced him. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff people really did want to hide. And she didn't die in childbirth. His ex-wife was interesting. And Brenda, this is so helpful. Awesome. Well, we'll keep going. All right, so I've got Gershko added. And now I'm going to build out the tree based on this revision list. And so we've got his son Abram, because Gershko's the father. So the patronymic, if we looked at the record, it'll probably say Abram Gershkovich Vaxer or something like that. And we might be able to see the record. Oh, I got to log in. Un momento, por favor, mi amigos. Okay, so this is going to be one of those difficult ones. Let's see if we can. Wait, no. Just like that. Oh, okay, perfect. Image 331. Okay, I gotta pull up the census. This is one of the things I dislike about the Jewish Gen system, is if you like click away from the page with the records for just a second, then it like does that, where it's like, we don't remember what you were doing. Okay, so image 331 is this one. And yeah, there we go, Vaxer. So now one trick with this, obviously, is you need to be able to learn how to read phonetically to be able to catch the names. I've been able to do that. So here we can see Vaxer, Avram, and then this is the Gershkovitz. And then here we have Vaxer, we have Rika Mirova. So this is his wife, I believe. Yeah, 4540. So you can see the M will be male. This like crazy looking letter, I don't know what to describe it as. It's almost like this. It looks like an X with an extra line through it, but when they write it, it looks like I don't know. It looks like a CK almost or something. But that's usually female. So male, female, I think. And then Vaxer. What is that? Gerber, Meyer, Avramich. What is it? What is it? Okay, I need to go back again. Here we go. Ruklia Meyer, Gershmeyer. Okay, Gershmeyer. So yeah, Gershmeyer, Avramich. And then this is Itska Avramova. And this is an interesting thing, too. You notice how this is Avramova. So it'll be a B-A is what it looks like in English. Whereas Vich looks like a B-U-R-R. So like this B-U-R. It's not B-U-R-R. It's just that's what I've learned it looks like. But it's like the, V-I crazy CH thing. But Vich or whatever. And so it's patronymics and matronymics. So females will get the va, males get the vich. So this is, we can look at the census record, and this can be especially helpful if you're analyzing a town. You want to look at neighbors and things like that, because sometimes, sure, we're getting vaxxers here, but then we might flip a page and then all of a sudden we see another family name that like, it's like, what? I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I figured I'd just show that because it's always fun to look at the actual records. But all right, so let's add this stuff in. So we've got Abram. He's born about 1852 in son. Abram 1852 in Tolchin, Venetia Oblast. And we're going to go to Abram because he's the focus of this. Close that. So we've got Ruklia, spouse. And what I'm going to do for maiden name is I do 5 underscores. And that's just to indicate that I do not know what her maiden name was. We know her father is Meyer, and some people might put her maiden name as Meyerova, but that wouldn't necessarily be correct because that's her patronymic, but the patronymic isn't always going to be what the actual maiden name is at this time, 1890s. If you're looking at a family in the 1700s in this area, that's going to be a different story. So we have Ruklia. She's 40, so about 1857. And what does it say for her? So she was born in Okhakov in Odessa. I am not familiar with that, but let's see if... All right, so I'm just going to call it Odessa for now, but that would be something I'd probably research further. Just do it like that. Save. Okay, doke. And then I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to add her father. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to view this tree from here. View in tree. All right, let's see. Brenda Child, on what site are you building that tree? This is Ancestry. So I have come to really like doing most of my researching and tree building in Ancestry. For years and years and years, Genie has been my place. I love Genie, but just because of the craziness that can happen with other people editing trees and stuff, you can lose stuff in the trees from someone doing a bad edit, and it can take a little work to get it back. And that can really screw things up when you're trying to look at stuff. So I keep like my own main tree on Ancestry where I do all of my main research. And then usually once I've confirmed things there and all that, then I'll usually move it over to genie.com as my preference. But this is the Ancestry tree. There's a lot of other trees you can do to do this kind of building. They're all going to be slightly different. There's My Heritage. There's WikiTree, which I know I have a lot of people who watch who love WikiTree. There's Family Searches Tree. There is GenieNet, especially if you have French ancestry, go to GenieNet, but even European ancestry in general. And then there's others too, but yeah, Ancestry. Rare Light, Russian cursive is so fun to read. Yeah, it really is. And I found it kind of surprising how easy it was to get down. Maybe it was just because I was doing it so much that I was probably doing it more than I realized, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people will say, oh, it's so difficult. And I was like, oh, just give it a shot. It might be easier than you think. So, yeah. Gazillion PT, it's not matronyms for women, it's feminine patronyms. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're correct. You're correct. That's correct. Okay, yeah. That I wasn't really thinking. Yeah. So it's it's not a matronymic because it's not the mother's name. It's a feminine patronym. Yes. Thank you for that correction because they are also derived from fathers' names, not mothers. Yeah. Evening, Rob. Goedenavond. Berke Sulek, do you know if Litvin surname is used mainly by Ashkenazi Jews? I have several variations of this surname in my DNA matches. I would assume so. I mean, a name like Litvin sounds like it's something that's connected to like Litvak or, like the Lithuanian, Latvian. I don't know if it gets up into Estonia. I think honestly it covers more into like northeastern Poland more, but like that sort of area, almost basically kind of like think like Warsaw, Poland, and then going northeast up into Lithuania and then Latvia, and even that little Russian thing over there, whatever that's called. I always forget what that's called. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, but you just never know. That's the hard thing with surnames. You really can't just tell just from the surname and all that. But yeah, Vicky B, I do my tree work on Ancestry too. Yeah, I think it's just with me. I just prefer their system. I've done my heritages, especially like, with a lot of the collaborations I've done with them. I make sure that everything I show is going to be, my heritage stuff on there. And so that's kind of gotten me to do more stuff on theirs. But I'm not as big a fan of the interface and stuff, even though funny enough, it's very similar to Genie because MyHeritage bought Genie years ago. So Genie is a MyHeritage company, I think is what they call it. I don't know. Everyone's always been confused on that whole thing, kind of, except for MyHeritage and Genie. but anyway, they kind of, when they got Genie, I believe they took a lot of what Genie was using for their tree visuals and utilized that. So, yeah, kind of interesting that I thought I would like MyHeritage's more, but I like Ancestry's more personally. And funny thing is that my host father was Ukrainian Jew while I was doing my exchange here in San Diego, and his surname is Litvin. Very, very funny. That's quite a coincidence. I'm sure. Did you say something? Well, I guess it would, if it's your not surname. If your DNA matches were the Litvin surname, I guess you wouldn't have known then. But yeah, that makes sense. And Rob, yeah, been on GenieNet for years. Yeah, I first got on GenieNet years and years ago because one of my cousin's fathers is actually French. And so, I've always done the thing of I research everything. I research my cousins, I research their spouses' trees, I research their spouses' in-laws' tree. I go so many degrees throughout because to me, I don't know, it's just always so interesting. That was like the first 10 years though of really diving into genealogy that I did that. And then after that point, then there's so much to research all the time. It's like, it's hard to focus. It's always like, okay, what project am I doing? That's how I'll focus. Next lifetime. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. And yeah, I agree. Ancestry is very simple and visually pleasing. Yeah. And Jose, no, you are not too late. Found out through my paternal grandmother that my great-great-grandfather was of French descent, which explains my French heritage coming from the Brittany region. Very cool. Very cool. And Rob, yeah, also started making an offline tree with Aldfair. I'm not familiar with that one, but that sounds very European, so I'm guessing that might be why. But I know there are a lot of people that really like to use Roots Magic and Family Tree Maker and some of the other offline softwares, which, from my understanding, a lot of them have developed to integrate with the various websites so that it's very easy to transfer stuff back and forth because there are a lot of people who don't even want their stuff online, which I can certainly understand. Sonny Johnson, Genie was the first genealogy site I found around 2008-ish. So it wasn't the first genealogy site I found, but it was the first site that I found that really got me hooked consistently into genealogy. Like 2009 is when I found Genie. I think it was the summer of 2009, right before I was going into my senior year of college. And before that, I had been on Ancestry, and I think I created my Ancestry account in 2008, at least the one that I use now. I think I have older accounts that I probably created years ago. But before that, like I first started doing genealogy when I was like 8 years old, and I had gotten family tree makers and stuff from cousins that had paid for it. And my family had ordered, like back then, Ancestry would send you CDs of records. So this is like the 90s that I'm talking about. And it's, you'd order like the 1940 census on a CD, and they'd send it to you, and you'd go through that database on that CD. So you'd hit brick walls very quickly, especially as a kid. So I'd do like genealogy. A couple years would go by, something would get me interested again. I'd do it again. And next thing I knew, I'd be forgetting about it. But when I found Genie in 2009, that's when I became like obsessed. Like there's been a couple of times I've taken small breaks in between since then, but yeah. So yeah, I love Genie. Genie's, yeah. I mean, I'm a curator on Genie, so you gotta kind of love it if you're on there as a curator. X dot, is it normal for a grandparent to have 10% of an ethnicity and not get any on your own test? Yeah, actually, that is very normal. With the randomness of recombination, remember, with your grandparent, your parent only inherited 50% of your grandparent's DNA. So of that 50%, your parent may not have inherited any of that 10% that your grandparent has. But then again, even if your parent did inherit some of it, then you also might not have inherited any of the amount that your grandparent or that your parent had inherited from your grandparent. So definitely normal, not out of the ordinary at all. Obviously the higher the number goes, then things start to, seem weird. But like, if like your grandparent was like, 30% something and you didn't get it, that'd be like, okay, we need to see what your parents got and see if something else is going on. And of course, it also will depend on, are you testing on the same sites? Because if you test on one site and your grandparent tests on another, those sites might be defining the region that your ancestry comes from differently, and then that will change the results. Okay, I see a bunch of stuff coming through. I think I'm going to jump back into adding all this stuff into the tree a little bit, and then we'll kind of jump back in. But of course, as I'm doing this, I've got it so if anyone does a super chat for a question, I'll be able to see it, I think. So, and hey, cousin, you're not too late. So, oh gosh, it's 4:36. Yeah, I can't go too long tonight. I have stuff to do after the stream today. So getting back to this, adding in this family, we've got Ruklia, and we're going to add her father in, Meyer. We don't know his last name, so we're keeping it underscore there as well. Saving that, and now we're going to put in their children. So we have Gershmeyer. We know son. All right, let's see. Add child. Gershmeyer. Then I'm going to check where they were born, and born in Odessa. So this is also important because this tells us the story of Abram a little bit, because first off, we know Abram's from Tulchin. We know his wife is from Odessa, and we know his oldest son in this census record was born in Odessa. So to me, that's basically telling us that, okay, by 1880, which is when the son is born, Abram is in Odessa and married to Rukla, most likely. And so we can assume that, that he's getting to Odessa probably sometime in the 1870s. And as I start to research further, that's where I'm going to, kind of be looking, especially in 1874, there was a military census of all the men in the Russian Empire. And so presumably we should be able to find Abram in there, who at that time would have been 20 something. And that will hopefully tell us, was he in Odessa or was he in Tulchin? And so we'll take a look in a second on how to do that. So 17, we know 1880, he's male. 1880. Just say Odessa. Save. I hate those email updates. I get too many of them. They advertise it to me like crazy. All right, Cena. And she is born, she's 15 years old, so that's going to be about 1882. I'm just going to copy that. So I can do copy paste, just get that workflow going. And this, I will say, this is where I would love to see AI being included in Ancestry in some way, of being able to, like, you know, why have this census? Having AI basically telling AI, take this census record and put it into my tree. And, you know, I think that's going to be something we may see with AI in the future. Obviously, there could be issues. And in a sense, Ancestry already does this for the records on their system, because you choose the record and then you go through each thing. But basically having it where you can get a record on another site and having that information transferred over, and maybe not necessarily automatically putting it into the tree, but automatically transferring it to the tree for me to then go through and change like I would a record I found on Ancestry to fit. Okay, so that's 1894. Also Odessa, we got that, so we can just do quickly. SEMA is 8, so that's going to be... Okay, I totally just realized I did that wrong. That should be 1884. Apparently I can't math. Add sister, SEMA, and she was 8 years old, so that's going to be 1889. Yeah, the fun nitty-gritty the fun nitty-gritty stuff of genealogy. Baruch Moshe. Add brother Baruch Moshe. 5, so that's 1892. All right, Yitzhak Riven. Now, I should say here too, with these, actually, we're going to pull it up because we already pulled it up. With these indexes on Jewish Gen, don't always take the transliteration of the names as that has to be how it is, because the various volunteers doing it had different ways of what they preferred. And so sometimes you get stuff that like doesn't really make as much sense. So we know the records here. I read Cyrillic enough, and I know this is clean enough that I kind of I just want to see for like Baruch Moshe. So we've got Baruch, and it is Moish a, not a Moishe or some sort of something like that. Moishi. But it's always interesting kind of to see like what some people chose. And I know that's one of the things that gets really annoying with the collaborative family trees like Genie and WikiTree and Family Search, is you get people that have very, very narrow-minded views of how transliterations should be, and will flip out that somebody else's transliteration is not the way they think it should be, and they'll go through and change it. And I know, I forgot how long ago it was, a couple of years ago, I had some guy that was doing that on my Kazanovich side of the tree on Genie, and I messaged him and I was like, you're literally just going through, and like he was actually screwing things up. He was like, I had it separated of like names in Ukrainian, names in Hebrew, names in English, all this. He like deleted it and then just put his transliteration version in, and it was like, what are you doing? So I messaged him, and I remember the arguments he had were not very strong. Like I remember he was like, well, I'm looking at the actual records, and I was like, do you not see the records I have attached? Like, it's the same record. It's just a difference of opinion on transliteration, but also you're deleting things that are making this much better and more nuanced because I have the Hebrew name, I have the Ukrainian name, it's like, ugh. But that's the annoying thing with the collaborative trees, and it doesn't matter which one you're on, stuff like this is going to happen. It really then comes down to how the collaborative tree says things should be done, what standardization practices there are. And I will say, I think that might be one of the places that WikiTrees shines the most, is that they have standardized the process of how they run things pretty succinctly. I don't know the super in-depths with it, but I know on Genie we've done a couple of times trying to standardize stuff, and it has been difficult. Like I tried to do it for the Dutch, because I was having a lot of people who did Dutch research but didn't understand the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam's, like the uniqueness of them, and would be so focused on, well, the Dutch records say this. And it's like, well, the actual records that they focused more on would have their name spelled like this. They weren't spelling it with the Dutch version then. They were spelling it like this. And it just becomes these annoying arguments that really, it becomes beyond useful. I kind of want to look here. And then what is this? What is that? Hyanovich. So you can see here really well. That's what I'm talking about. That burr, right? B-U-R-R is what it looks like if you were reading cursive in English. That in Cyrillic is vich. So little stuff like that. So here, Myerovich. And Myerovich is pretty easily like you can. I think that's why Cyrillic was so easy for me. And I find it like for a lot of people, like, just give it a shot, because it's very similar. The M, the E, the P here is an R. That's one thing you have to remember. P's are R's. B's are V sounds, except if it's a B with that like a shelf on top. If there was like a line on the top of it. But Myerovich, but yeah, but that where it gets really difficult is like the letters that aren't typical, and there's a lot of E's and I's and stuff in the Cyrillics that's the hardest for me. So like reading this, it's like, what? But I think it's high, like there's this I sort of thing. So I think it's like the Hayevich or something. I don't know. We have anyone who can read Cyrillic really well in here, and let me know. But yeah, so this is I don't know what that first letter is supposed to be, but it's basically like Bezra, yeah, lose. Yeah, this is a difficult one. So yeah, I am far from perfect with this. Like I said, I can read it phonetically well enough that I can catch names. Beyond that, once I've caught names, then I need to reference people that know what they're doing for what the translation and what it actually means. So, all right, let's add in these last few. Because each shock Riven. That was the one that I was like, wait, how are they spelling each shock? Yeah, so like each shock, like I would do Itzhak. Like this SH each shock. Oh, whoops. I would just do Itzhak. I mean, I guess everyone's different. Oh, so it is okay. I just saw that pop up. It is Kyanovich. I couldn't tell just because it's like that, like right here. It's hard to tell if it's that like basically the letter that they've got going on here, that like yeah. So it's like hard to tell. Is that an M or is that something else? But yeah, so Kyamovich. Okay. Yeah. So all right, let's get back into it. We're going to add in Itzhak. So the way I would do it, like that. Itzhak. Like if you, when I was on Ukrainian, I was on the Ukrainian news back in 2019 or so, and the way that they did my name was Dzieret Ross. So it's like the D and then that letter, that ZH. because they don't have a J. So instead of Jarrett, it's Genealogists. I thought that was so cool. I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I will say something that's really cool that I love is that I have been on the Ukrainian news and I've actually been on Japanese news too. That was really cool. Although they really didn't, I don't think they did much with, like, I thought they were going to do way more. And then it was like, they barely showed any of it. They really had me more, like, they played the audio. Like, they showed whatever they were doing, they showed the people the full thing, I think. But then, like, in the actual program they showed like a little clip of it, but then like most of it was audio, and they didn't really even show my face on screen, maybe for a second. And then the audio had an overdubbing of Japanese. So I can't show it because of licensing stuff. That was something they kind of told me, was, you know, you have to, which I understand because I actually charged them a license to be able to play my stuff in what they did. But yeah, so that's just a cool thing. But being able to see the, you know, names and stuff like the Ziadat Ross and the Ukrainian stuff. So, okay, so Itzhak Riven. Yes, exactly like that, Julia. Exactly. Except no, it's two T's. It was two T's at the end. Because I'm double R, double T. Actually, one thing with my name, every single one of my names has double letters. Jarrett Philip Ross. JARRETT PI double, wait, no, not PI, PHI double LIPROSS. Yeah. So Robert Skurlock, hey Jarrett. Robert Skurlock, second here. I'm researching my mom's side, trying to finish the Kobol side in 1755. My seventh great grandparents were killed by Lenape natives and the farm was burned. Very interesting. That's quite a story to uncover. Quite a story. Rare Light, I need to install a Russian keyboard or font on my computer so I can help more. Yeah, well, I use Lexilogos whenever I do stuff like that. I don't know if there's a better thing for it, but that's my preference. So Lexilogos, if you're not familiar. So it'd be, what is it? Oh yeah, because it's, what is it? No, it's not Z. Is it X? No, it's not X. There. Whatever that, yeah. It's there. Boom. And most of it, like you can see what it equates to, but it's like these letters that you got to figure out the type directly. So, yeah. Our Faroe Islands representation. Good evening. Good to see you, Weeping Scorpion. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Xdot. Do you know the backstory as to why my Sicilian great-grandfather would have changed his last name from Nardone to Narden after moving? Just preference, or might have had to for limited opportunity? That's the kind of stuff that you can only guess at. I mean, my guess is he probably was just running into issues of people pronouncing the name wrong or not wanting to seem, you know, basically seem more Americanized. Or he wanted to seem more Americanized and not seem quite as Sicilian. I mean, in the same way that my great-grandfather decided to change his name from Rosenberg to Ross. Large part of why he did that was because he worked in various country clubs and stuff around Philadelphia, like big clubs. Actually, some of the research I've done, I've gotten in touch with these clubs that have pulled work information from my great-grandfather working then, and actually proved that my grandfather was working at, what was it? Is it the Cobb Creek Country Club in Philadelphia? Yes, I think that's it. So, yeah. My great-grandfather worked at the Cobb Creek Country Club in Philadelphia, and he was working there when I think Howard Taft came to visit. Yeah, Howard Taft came to visit, and yeah, here we go. And my grandfather always said that he worked there and served President Taft. And when I contacted Cobb Creek, they said, well, he was working in the right room. We don't know for sure if he served him, but it's very likely because we know he was there when the president was working. And so that I've actually never seen that picture before. That's him doing that. So a fun little aside of what you can do. So going back actually to my tree, speaking of my great grandfather, Harry Ross. Oh yeah, I guess I need to add this. I get so distracted. I'm sorry, everybody. I get so distracted, but I'm answering your question. So yeah, hopefully that should be helpful. In sometimes you really don't know though. It's about stories being passed down. So like on my Kazanovich side, which they changed the name to Casino, spelled with a K. The story that I actually found on a cassette tape that my great grandmother made talking about the family history, she talked about how her father, when he came over on the boat, he was getting annoyed with how the ship workers couldn't get his name right. And so he decided while he was on the ship, he was going to change his name. And I think part of the story was that he figured out what he wanted to change it to based on how the people on the ship were mispronouncing it. My guess is Kazanovich. They were like casino. And that's supposedly how he chose it. So yeah, I've told that story before. And then I've had some genealogists be like, no names were changed at Ellis Island. And I'm like, that's not at all what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that his name was changed at Ellis Island. I'm saying he decided himself while he was on the boat coming over. So, all right, let's jump ahead. Can you link this site for me? Oh, are you talking about Lexi Logos? If you are, I'm going to post. Now, Lexi Logos has a bunch of different keyboards. I also use their Hebrew keyboard. So there's a lot. So this is honestly a really useful website for genealogy. Years ago, I got in touch with Lexi Logos because I had featured them in a video and I sent it to them and I said, hey, talk about you in a video. And the guys got back to me and were like, wow, this is so cool. I didn't think of this sort of use. But then that was kind of about it. But yeah, very cool. So, okay. Just going to do a quick look. All right, let's finish up adding these in real quick. And then there's something I want to show and how I would search. So, born about 1896, Odessa. Oh, no, I saved a different thing. Odessa, save, and then Uno Mas. Oh, yeah, look at that. There we get. Yeah, they said Chaimovich. But, okay, from Alea, so sister-in-law to Abram. Interesting. Sister-in-law, niece. So Chaimovich, I'm guessing, well, no, I guess if the sister's married, the sister-in-law, this must be the sister of Ruklia. Yeah, because they're both daughters of Meyer. Okay. So let's actually add that in. Now, I don't believe that Chaimovich is the name of Ruklia and her sister. I believe that's Froimelea's husband's surname. And let's see, dependent on her brother-in-law, which tells me there's a possibility that she may be a widow, but don't know for sure. But yeah, so Fromelea, she's 22, 1897, 1875. Where was she born? She's born also. Oh, interesting. Born in Okakov, Kherson Gubernia. But up here they say Okakov, Odessa, Kherson. Oh, okay. Odessa's in Kherson, I guess. Yeah, okay. Pulling up the Jewish Town Finder. because this is a useful thing to see where was everything and what was it defined under throughout the past, because it changed a lot. So yeah, so before World War One, Odessa, Kherson. Between the wars, Odessa, Ukraine, and then after World War II, it was just Odessa, Oblast, I think. So yeah, I just wanted to check that. All right. So 1875. Still call it Odessa. Ukraine. We'll just call it that. And then what I'm going to do for her husband. Add relative. We don't know his first name. Maybe we'll find it. So we put the 5 underscores because that's what we don't know. And then Haimovich. And this is actually going to tell us, or this is going to show us exactly why I do the underscores, because with the underscores, now we know which name is unknown. Whereas if we didn't put the underscores, when you look at it, it just has the one name. And so it can get confusing sometimes because some first names are often last names too. So just a helpful little trick that I learned years ago that I constantly use. Okay, so we've got Fromalea, then we've got Estremolka. Child Estremolka, female. I have so much open, I'm jumping everywhere. Oh, and check that out. Father's name, Liba. So that's probably the father's name. I didn't even think about that until I saw that. Okay. So Estremolka, she's 2. So about 1895. Where was she born? She's born in Odessa. I don't know why I said Odessa like that. She's born in Odessa. So we save that. And then we're going to update. Oh, whoops. Whoops-a-daisy. Click the wrong button. Liba. All right. So now we've got that added in. And so now what I would do from here, because this is a Vaxer family from Tolchin, who I have no idea how they connect into the larger Vaxer family tree I have created. Now I'd research further, and I'd probably focus on Abram Vaxer. And the way that I would do this is I'd specify my search. And I wouldn't do Tolchin. I'm going to do just every Abram Waxer first. I'm sure there's going to be a ton, but it might not always be. While that's searching, let me check chat. All right, cool. Everyone chatting with each other. So, all right. So, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff, but not too much. And we're going to focus on Ukraine because we know they were in Tolchin. We know they were in Odessa. Not a lot indicating other places. And for those who don't know where Odessa and Tolchin are in relation to each other, let me show you a map really quickly. So we're going to go over Cha. And Tolchin is up here. Where is it? Okay, where are you, Tolchin? You are hiding somewhere in here, aren't you? All right, let's just search it. Let me do it over here. So there we go. We've got Tolchin. So yeah, I was about close. That's a little south. So Tolchin's up here. Odessa's on the water down here. So the larger Pale of Settlement up here. So we can see that, the family wasn't making a huge move. And it wasn't uncommon for people to make moves that were bigger than that. One of my family lines I recently discovered came from Vasilishki, which is somewhere up here-ish. And they went from Vasilishki and went all the way down to Kyiv. And that was in the 60s, 1850s, 1860s. So a lot of people moving around a lot more than people realize then. So we're going to focus. The main reason I talk about that, we're just going to focus on what we have here. And I talked about that 1874 revision list. When we click this list of 10 records, I'm guessing we're going to see what we just were looking at before. Yep. The 10 from that, this record, this census record, which we can close this out now. So we're going to go into this list, and the main thing we're going to hope for is that we're going to be able to find Abram, son of Gershko, who's of the right age, 1875. And where is he? Nemirov in Bratslavisky, Podolska. So Bratslavisky is where Tolchin is. So you can see Tolchin here, Bratslavisky. So he's moved a town over. So we've got a little bit more on him. We know 1875, he's in Nemirov. By 1880, he's in Odessa. So we're getting a bit more on him. And this is the 1875 military male list. I think it was 1874, 1875. Why do I have 1874 in my head? Maybe I'm getting this off. But yeah, so this is what that record set looks like. And here he is right here, Vaxer Avram Gershkovich, or Gershkova. Is that Gershkova? Oh, I hate when they do this. I hate when it goes from like crazy small, or not crazy small, but to like way too big, and there's no in between. Let's get. No. It's not doing what I wanted to do. Okay, where are we? Where is Vaxer? There he is. Okay, so yeah, Gershkova. So not really much to learn here because it doesn't look like there's any other Vaxers. So now what we're going to do is, so he's 23 here. So we're going to hope that maybe we can find him in the 1858. And there we do. We've got him, Abram Gershko. He's a nephew of David, son of Moshko. So let's go back to our tree. And I'm actually going to open up a second one. See, I need to do this over here. What is this? Ancestry, you're drunk. All right. So we've got both trees pulled up. I've got this one for Abram. Abram, son of Gershko. And then we're going to go back over here to my great-grandmother's tree. There's my great-grandfather I was talking about who changed his name, Harry Ross, who I get a lot of my looks from for sure. Okay, and so we're going to close that side down, and we're going to look for more David, son of Moshko. And David, son of Moshko, 50 set, so 1801. So let's see if we can find him. So David of Moshko doesn't look like I might have him in here yet. Okay. All right. So I guess the question comes down to, and I think I actually remember now why I don't have him in here, because I couldn't figure out which Moshko he's coming from. This David. So we have David of Moshko. He's 57. So yeah, so basically you can kind of see where I'm going with this whole thing of kind of, I'm searching for where's the connection. And so what I'd do from here is now I'd probably start researching much further into what might be going on with Abram, son of Gershko. Because Gershko is also a son of Moshko. So we know Moshko has two sons, Gershko and David. Oh, and look at that. I totally didn't even see it. We have Gershko, son of Moshko here. So he's in the house. So maybe what we should do is we should see about Gershko. We're going to go down the Ukraine and then the revision list in here. So Gershko, son of Moshko. Oh, wow. Look. So not the Gershko, son of Moshko we're looking for. Much, much younger one. But okay, so we've got Gershko, son of Moshko. Gershko, son of Mendel. Then Menachem. Not who we're looking for. We still have more records to go through. Yeah. Not seeing anything so far. But you may not always find stuff. That's the sad thing about this too. So all right, so we've got nothing there. So I guess the other way I could go about it too is I can also see maybe searching for Moshko and then see can I look into Moshko in a way that I can figure out a way to decipher this Moshko from this Moshko, because I was able to decipher them based on their patronymics, but beyond the patronymics I wasn't able to. So and one way I could do that too is, seeing if there's any marriages that would make sense, but not getting any. We do have Daniel Vaxer, son of Moshko. And we got another Ruklia. So, yeah. And I'm guessing, looking at this, I need to spread my look at the Vaxers a little bit further. We do have Avram, son of Moshko. Which was it over here? Avram Gershko. Okay, yeah. So not quite. Just a lot of different stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm checking chat. Any general info on researching Pakistani family? I know nothing about researching Pakistani families, unfortunately. No experience with it. The thing to do if you want to do that, Pakistani family search wiki, see what they have. So I talk about this all the time. Family Search has their own wiki, which is basically just a massive guide on helping research. And doesn't look like a ton that they have on here, but we do have some Pakistan online genealogy records. So there's some stuff. I'm guessing most of these records probably relate to the British colonial stuff. So not a ton, but yeah, I mean, just you can peruse around here and see, is there anything that might be able to help you, or research or reach out through one of these. But unfortunately, yeah, I have no experience with it. No experience. Next lifetime, I recently broke through a brick wall with a lot of help of an ancestor who went all the way from Czech Republic near Poland to Styria, Austria, to Burgenland, Austria, Vaz County, Hungary. Would be a 5-hour drive today. Interesting. And then Brenda, looking for Pavlo Fedorich Zavalkova for 1903 in Oslinks Litna VO. All right. Well, yeah, that's a very specific one. If I wasn't gonna, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna just a little bit, but I'll probably end it pretty soon. So won't be able to dive into that right now. But hopefully, some of what I've gone over might be helpful for you so far. Oh yeah, I look like my great grandma too. My great grandma Pearl. It's such a cool photo. I love this photo. So cool. Julia Isachenko, was it Sergei Fazulyanov who helped you with your Jewish Ukrainian ancestry? Specifically, he helped me with the first research I did into my Tulchan ancestry. I have a lot of family from throughout Ukraine, or present day areas of Ukraine. So I have family on my dad's side that also came from Sokyriani, which was part of the historic Bessarabia region. I also have family that were in Odessa, family that were in Kiev, and specifically Vasilkiv and Fastov, and a lot of other places. But yeah, Sergey helped me. I'm trying to remember when this was. I guess it would have been about 7-8 years ago, maybe. And I hired him to do the research into my family. And he found some amazing stuff. He made some connections that would not have been found without, him going a little bit above and beyond what I had asked him, which is what you always hope from a good genealogy researcher. They see something that they catch on to something, and they don't just let it lie there. They let you know. So, yeah. Brian, I'm heading to my live stream. Thanks for all the info, Jarrett. Learned a lot as per usual. Well, thank you for hanging out, Brian. Hope you have a good live stream. And I'm not going to be going too much longer. So for all of you, once I'm done, head on over to Brian's. And yeah, it is. Yeah, amazing photo. So, oh, cool. She looks like a friend of mine from Thuringen in Germany. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right. Well, I think with that, I'm going to end it here. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. And I will be seeing you all next week on here. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm talking about it, I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I may not stream because I will be on my trip going to the conference. I think a week from today, I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio. And so it's really going to depend on how I feel. So I guess it'll also depend on my internet connection because I'm going to be at a hotel and stuff. So I guess maybe I can go somewhere else and stream some other way. I don't know. So I'll figure it out, but just be on just understand it might be off. If I don't stream on Friday, I may stream on another day, probably something with the conference. So thank you, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful live stream today. Had a lot of fun. And I guess maybe I'll see you all next week. I'm Chair Ross, the Genie Vlogger. I'm out. Bye, everybody.